Mark, what's your viewpoint on how, I don't know, I guess tell us what you think about as far as good reps, the good and the bad and the ugly that you've seen from your experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Like, I think if you almost have to sort of parse it down to a very specific part of medical sales, right? Like, to your point, pharma reps, that world is a very, very different job and a very, very different life than medical device sales, right? Um, and certainly within the world of medical device sales, there's sort of orthopedic surgery, where by far compared to other specialties, right, it's a much more medical device heavy job. You know, if you're selling to cardiac surgeons or general surgeons or other specialties, excuse me, it's a different animal altogether. So what we deal with, I think, in the world of medical devices is a very specific niche, and you guys can kind of probably talk more about what it's like from a company perspective to be in orthopedic medical device sales versus some of the other worlds that they might have in front of them. But this is a pretty labor intensive gig, um, and I have a good buddy who is a business professor, and he focuses on sales. He has a sales center at a big university, and he brings undergrads and grad students, through a sales program, right? And those guys go out in the world, and usually the jobs they get right out of undergrad are sales jobs in a big company that um, that they did an internship for or something like that, right? They step out of their education into kind of this curated job that they already have. They've been on calls, they've shadowed some more senior people, and they just kind of step into that job. In the medical device world, there's no such undergrad prep, you know, to your
Right.
point, right? Like Stryker doesn't do a lot of medical device sales internships, right? Where they
Yeah.
get folks to sort of tag along. So Matt's not wrong. Like you get thrown into this, um, and there's not a lot of understanding of what kind of pool you just jumped into, right? And honestly, if we talk about orthopedic medical device sales, it's probably the most difficult, I think, in my mind, medical device, genre, right? That you could get into. Like the pharma reps that come to my office, that's a pretty easy gig, right? Like you have a new pill, you get to bring lunch in, and basically you kind of just sit around the lunch table and talk through, the science behind the research and what the potential side effects are, and that's kind of it. Like as a salesperson, you basically need to know, what the approval process looked like through the FDA, what the side effects are from the drug, and what the size and situation the current market is in, and then you kind of just talk to the doc. You have a completely other job in orthopedic medical device sales, right? Like you are on the clock to be there and provide the instrumentation for the case for the surgeon when he needs it, right? And
Yes.
that is sometimes very difficult. I think one of the mistakes that the companies make, and maybe Matt, you can speak to this a little bit, but sometimes the mistakes are that the number of accounts and the size of the region is almost unmanageable for the number of reps that they hire, right? You'll find a guy that has to be in two places at once, and there's surgeons that are in the middle of cases saying, "Where's my guy? Where are my instruments?" And there's often sort of the thing that I've seen that happens is the sales rep will say, "Well, Dr. Myers, you're good, right? Like you've been using these devices for a long time. You don't really need me in the room. I've got to run to another case. I'm just going to leave this stuff here in the corner, and if you need it, go ahead and grab it, right?
In there, yeah.
And that's great most of the time.
But you don't want that.
But what's happened is you're now stretched too thin, and then you've just lost your opportunity to interact with your customer, because you have to cover, 6 cases that are all going on at the same time.
Yes.
And then you rush through traffic, get to the other operating room, show up out of breath, and you find that case was delayed an hour and a half. Right? It's,
Patient's not even in holding yet. Yeah.
patient, yeah, exactly. And the surgeon's chilling in the surgeon lounge, waiting for you to start the case as well. And so, I think it is this podcast could be super useful for people who are considering this gig, just to understand what the different specialties are and what they might entail.